Is it true that the technique started out first on animals?
Yes.
Dogs, horses?
No, the technique basically was at animal research where it was a selection of all animals.
Okay.
My pet animal to work with and to like are pigs.
Mm-hmm.
So pigs got a lot of EMMETT touches. The idea was it was an experimental station where we were given animals diseases and then we had to monitor their death. And so we had to write down for the trainee vets and animal students observations that we had. And therefore I was getting a diagnostic skill as an untrained person in this job. What it did do for me was I always wanted to be a vet, but my parents couldn't afford it.
Okay.
I got free vet training.
Mm.
I got free anatomical animal training, and I didn't pay or sit for an exam. I thought that was brilliant to go, but it was my learning. The thing was, the acceptance to what the animals were showing me, not what I was showing animals. And a few months ago, maybe a couple of years by now, no, it's about 2 years, I was over showing a friend of mine what to do on a horse. And we had a lady hold the horse for us, and I'm showing this trainer of mine what to do on the horse. The horse, as I did the move, it turned around and bumped my hand down and then nibbled at another place on its body. So I waited till it to stop, and then I went back and did the move again. The horse again hit my hand away and then nibbled at another part of the body. Mm-hmm. I had to stop and I burst into laughter. I said, here I am, the animal's trying to tell me and I'm starting to tell the animal. I went and did the point that the animal was showing me, and there was a total relaxation and acceptance by the animal.
Okay.
The willingness to listen and learn.
It's pretty unusual that a technique started out with animals and then switched over to humans and is so successful than it is today. And you come from a complete different angle. I mean, your biography is pretty colorful. You had a lot of jobs. For example, you used to be a boxer. You worked in a prison in Australia somewhere, in a hardcore prison. tell me more about it. And you skilled up yourself. Tell me what benefit gave these jobs to you?
I suppose my background is colourful. There's 18 months in an orphanage, just as an eldest of 5 children, 18 months in orphanage. That gave me an insight into things a little differently. Getting out of there and then taking on the sport of boxing, which was where I could allow my aggression out under control. I got into less trouble that way. That again gave me a way of assessing my opponents, watching their body language, looking for their weakness. And being the type of boxer I was, I didn't like getting hurt. I always admired people like Muhammad Ali who could avoid getting hit, but could hit back. I didn't believe that you had to take 3 hits to deliver one. So I was always looking for a way of avoiding conflict, but enjoyed conflict. So the sport helped me there. The sport also helped me in quick fixes. To watch a poor person like myself in the art of boxing, that you got an injury in a 3-minute bout, then you had 1 minute to recover and recuperate before you went back in there, because there was only a timeout count of 10 and it was over. You got knocked down on the 8th set, you're out. So I really found a lot of relief in those instant result type treatments that my father, who was the Australian boxing referee and judge, and the old fellas that sat in the corner, these were retired boxers who just stayed around it for the game, for the excitement, would sit there as seconds and they'd come in and do these quick 1 minute mix-ups and I was back to the fight. How does that happen? Today they have time out, you have replacements, you have a week's rehabilitation, and we weren't. And we didn't get a second go. So I was in this division today, this year. Next year I might never make the finals again because my divisional weight was up greater. So I had to get the best out of everything I had. And I think that comes through in the technique.
Recently there was that huge EMMETT conference in Cairns,
Yes.
Australia. Tell us more about it.
The conference was based on sharing, and it was based on the complementary value of EMMETT. So everyone who was invited there to speak were EMMETT therapists who had a primary therapy, be they physiotherapy, be they doctors, be they acupuncturists. That was their primary therapy, but they had added EMMETT to their toolbox. And what they were finding that was EMMETT was starting to dominate and taking over from their primary therapy. So these were people that got up there and spoke on the complementary values of mixing EMMETT with their known therapies. It was brilliant. For me, I found it hard to hear what I was hearing because sometimes you only remember the mistakes you make. You don't always focus on the good things you do. Here I was being blasted with the amount of good things that EMMETT had done or had been done in my name. I'd like to say there that I always like to give the therapist the credibility, not the therapy. Okay? It means that he's had the initiative to use what he was taught. And he has to take some of the credit, and a lot of it.
As a physiotherapist, you know that everybody has to be evidence-based. Okay, so at the conference there was a very significant person, Dr. Susanne Schneider, and I found out that more and more medical doctors, are working with you. So what do you think about that? And how important is it for you working with the medical field or with medical doctors?
It's not important to me, to be truthful. It's more important to the people who follow me, that they want that credibility. I'm going to believe in what I believe in. And it doesn't matter whether you have a doctor's degree, physiotherapist degree. I'm afraid I'm going to stick out with my beliefs. And that is something that I've had to get this therapy to where it has. I've had to stay with the belief that I had a solution. Not that I had a solution, the physiotherapy background or your doctor's background, but I had a solution. And in that, that's why a lot of people followed me. I lost a little bit of your question there, and I'm going to ask you because some of that was very important what you said, and I'd like you to, could you repeat it?
This was this evidence-based thing.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Can I just hold you there?
Yeah.
Evidence-based thing. I hear love makes the world go round. Is there ever any evidence based on love?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. I hear that music can make me happy. Is there any evidence-based thing?
Let me think. No.
Then can I accept this?
Yes.
Because what makes me feel good is evidence-based.
Yeah.
Your evidence-based is primary to make you feel good. Me, I like feeling good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a man once asked me, can you prove what you have just said? I said to him, are you married? He said, yes. I said, do you love your wife? He said, yes. I said, can you prove it? I think that's where we got to start to look. Everyone wants to tell me what I'm supposed to think. I like to think I'm free. Free to make a choice. The same as the client has the freedom to come and select me if they wish. They allow me the freedom to pick what I believe will help them. Trust. And then they have the freedom to go elsewhere when they leave if I didn't succeed. Our freedom's being eroded by dictatorial ways. You must have 25 visits with this man to get a rebate.
Freedom is a wonderful word. What is the translation of EMMETT in Hebrew?
I have been told by strong Jewish people that in the first language of Hebrew, EMMETT means truth.
Okay.
And they've written this out for me and they've given me a little plaque. And so they believe that it's truth, and it could mean that it's the true therapy. I'm not sure about that, but I'm willing to allow them that right. It's not, if it comes from them anywhere, it comes from a true base. And the people that work with me, this technique hasn't just been Ross Emmett. This has been a whole collection of people with the same type thought process. They got together and shared with each other. And all they had was my principle, and then they shared the outcomes. There are some very, very talented people. Well, you mentioned Dr. Suzanne Snyder, but there are so many others as well. They put their faith in communicating with me and sharing with others the result that they've found, not for monetary gain, but for client outcomes. That's brilliant.
And just in case somebody wants to learn this technique, where should they look?
Right now there is a home base. It's an Australian home base. This is I Am Australia.
The mothership.
The mothership, if you wish. I don't know about mother, but it is the home base.
Okay.
The home base. And I think if you go on to EMMETT Technique and the EMMETT Technique headquarters, you can look up where there'll be a flag up there indicating which country you would like to check on. By clicking on that flag, it will give you the contact within the areas of the world that you live. And it will give you the dates and the courses that are available. Some of the courses available, there's dog courses, there's horse courses, there's the basic courses, but there's also simple little courses for mums and dads. Basic first aid courses, one-dayers that you don't need to spend a fortune on, and you can help your own children.